So we are going to look at the discriminant analysis, the other multivariate analysis, including factor analysis, cluster and conjoint with different case studies, so that for the future it is helpful for you to understand in what area or in what kind of context, especially should you be using these kind of analytical techniques. Is given there. The purpose is that it is a solved case study. The only reason is why the problem is given, you will understand what type of variables are used, what in which situation can you use it. Sample data is also there. So what happens is you get a basic idea that if you want to try it out in SPSS, any trial version and all that, later also you can do that, even if you don't have a system at home right now while you are away from the campus. It doesn't. All that matters is that understand and keep the case studies, how it is done, what is analysis, what's the output, that kind of a thing. If you keep it with you, are able to kind of look analysis and try it on later also if you require, or else understand how you're going to use this going forward. Now, for example, for discriminant analysis, a certain situation is given with respect to Procter & Gamble, a company, and dealing, as all of you can see, and how to categorize the case, the Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All this time, did you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Just for
Okay.
2 minutes, there was a break.
Certain?
Just for 2 minutes, there was a lag.
Okay, not 2 minutes. Okay, okay. So I was saying, so till where, Pranita, right? Can you just tell me till you hear so that I can continue from there? What was the last thing that you heard?
Ma'am, you were telling that we could use this for the research purposes.
Okay, okay. Did I talk about the case study for the Procter and Gamble, the description of the case study? No.
We couldn't hear that, ma'am.
Okay, okay. All right. So I'll try and put up that case study once again. There was a sudden, I think, glitch in our network. I'll try and just reconnect. So in the meantime, I was requesting all the students that if you can get, download your own copies of the case study that I have uploaded on LMS, it will help you to refer it while we are going ahead in the discussion. So it is already uploaded on LMS, this particular PDF file. All right, let me just see. 1 second. So the particular case study we wanted to begin with was on discriminant analysis. And for the discriminant analysis, I was saying that it is dealing with a Procter and Gamble by their territorial sales, inspectors, some kind of a sales staff, in terms of their productivity, in terms of certain things that they have, and the categorization. So primarily discriminant analysis is primarily used in cases where you would like to, categorize objects or respondents into certain classes, certain pre-specified categories. The difference with discriminant analysis and logistic regression would be that in discriminant analysis, you can use this particular technique to classify, as you can see on the screen, you can use it to classify 2 or more groups. And logistic regression basically is used to classify only within 2 groups. Now, this kind of analysis is very much used in banking and financial services sector, and primarily to classify, for example, people into good customers or bad customers, or people who are good for lending purpose, or or not good for lending purposes. You can classify customers in the retail sector based on certain categories. So this is what is primarily the reason for using discriminant analysis. All right. So if somebody could read the case and tell me what are some of the variables that are used for this particular analysis, you can see for yourself. For example, the problem talks about Procter and Gamble in a certain division in Bangalore regarding their FMCG. They're doing something. Can you, someone can put in the chat box, what is this particular case dealing with? What is the purpose? Because see, please understand, when you understand the context, the purpose, the research problem, then you will be able to understand why this particular technique was used for data analysis, and why this analysis was used is to reach to a certain conclusion. And if you have to use a particular data analysis, definitely the type of data that you're going to need is also going to be different, right? So in the next page of the case study, if you see, you will see that the data is already given, right? So it is important for you to understand. I will be providing the PPT slides for understanding what is a discriminant analysis. All of that I'll give it to you. But what is important is to understand, for example, why is it going to be used? In what context? So while you come to the data here, the first part of the case study is important. So what is the problem? So I would like some of you to please mention in the chat box, and you the chat box, what is Procter & Gamble wanting all of these? What is the purpose, do you think? Number one. Second thing is, can you also tell similar examples where you think this particular analysis can be done? For example, you have all done some preliminary, so you will not have a software to deal with, data entry right now and doing the analysis. But you can always, while you're attending these online classes with this whatever tab, phone, or a laptop, with the case study, you will be able to understand, contemplate and understand for which situation should I use certain analytical techniques. Because by now you have understood what kind of data is there, what are the measurement scales. You have practiced hands-on how to develop questionnaires, right? Using 3 types of research problems. And you have also got the raw data dump. You have some idea about what are the types of nominal scale data, ordinal, interval, and ratio scale data that are there. What is right now important is to understand how and where do you think this type of data should be used, and how you will go forward with the analysis, already mentioned in the case study. What is the problem? So you can give answers like, it is a problem pertaining to classification of people. In this case, it is for a company, right? You can say that it is for a company. Which company is it? Procter and Gamble. What is the problem basically here? The problem is to classify their salespeople. Why are they trying to classify their salespeople? Why are they trying to classify the salespeople? That is a more important thing. Then, second question, in order to classify these salespeople, what are some of the data that are there available with the company? What are some of the data? What are some of the data? And then you can use, even if you're not on the screen, I'll keep the screen open because the first page people have to read it, right? So what is the kind of data that is available with the company? It's all written there. There's a reason why they want to do the classification. Okay, something will be given by the company to the territorial sales, instructors or the inspectors there. Territorial, these are kind of territorial sales leaders. They can come in the form of different team leaders concept also somewhere else, isn't it? So the concept can be different. It doesn't matter. What is important is to understand where do you use such a data analytical technique. Where do you use it? Case study is available for those who are joining. Case study is available. This particular document that I'm using has already been sent across to all of you on LMS. You can keep connected on the audio and you can get hold of your main case study so that you can see it for yourself in case your screens are small or whatever. All right, please have a look at the case study. So the question is, for what purpose is Procter & Gamble wanting to classify its TSIs? Now I'm talking in terms of the terms used in the case study because it will be helpful for you to start relating. So what is some of the things that we want to know? First of all, what is a research problem? Number one, research problem. Please mention in the chat box what is the research problem. Second thing is, if the research problem is known, which is to classify salespeople, the second thing we would like to understand is, can you tell us why this classification is required? There's a business reason behind it. Once you identify the business reason, what is the data that has been available with the company based on which discriminant analysis can be performed? So 3 questions. What is the research problem? What is the research problem? All right. Next is, what is the purpose behind which Procter and Gamble wants to do the discriminant analysis? Third, what is the data that is available? Have you all been able to understand? So what has been mentioned here? What is mentioned in the case study? There are some territorial sales, executives, and they have to be given this kind of classification. So the next page contains the second question, which is what, why are they wanting to classify? The company wants, because it wants to give some kind of sales tracking devices to them. So whom will they give the sales tracking devices? Only to people who are really very effective. All right. So what you see on the screen here, on the screen, next screen that I've put up for all of you, is that you can see that there are some data, input data for discriminant analysis given, which is the potential of the salespeople. And there's a code for the potential. It is coded as 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, like that it is given. The next column for the for what you can see on the screen is the years of experience. The variable name is year exp. And then there is some sales underscore year, right? So what is sales underscore year? Can you tell me which are the variables? So the variable details are given in the case study itself. And the last column is about some dealer CVR, dealer coverage, right? So can you tell me why and what all are the data that are given? So what is the first variable that is there for the case study? What is the second variable for the case study? What is the third variable for the case study? Because thereafter, while the answers are coming in, please look at the third page onwards. The third page will talk about the analysis that is done and some outputs which will come from the statistical software, finally leading to the discriminant function, which is like a equation. Okay, so what you see on the screen right now is the discriminant function, finally, which becomes like a predictor model, right? Where it is something to do with y is equal to a constant plus or minus a coefficient of the variable, of one of the variables, plus another thing, which is the second one, say sales minus YR into some coefficient. So basically these are the independent variables. So which is a dependent variable in the equation? It is the y. Y is the dependent variables, and there are certain independent variables in the particular case of trying to find out what is affecting y. So which are the independent variables in this particular case study? So the reason is you need to look forward into the case study and then come back and understand how it is getting analyzed. So the purpose of y would be to find the discriminant score into which you can categorize the TSIs about whom the data is there. And now what are the data which is actually available for the TSIs? The data which is available for the TSIs are about their years of experience, the sales, and the dealer coverage. All right. So coming back to the first screen. So now you need to understand, so where can you use discriminant analysis? You can use it to discriminate between objects based on certain pre-specified criteria in which you will have some detailed data, and you would like to classify the objects or the respondents into 2 or more categories. Is that clear till now? Is that clear till now?
Okay, now what are the kind of data that you can use for discriminant analysis? The y variable, that is the dependent variable, will be a categorical variable, will be a nominal scale variable. All right, and what you will see in the independent variables would be the independent variables can be coded or can be interval scale variable or continuous variable. That is, they can be ratio scale variables. All right. So you need to understand that the scale of data that can be used with the discriminant analysis primarily would be to deal with the independent variable being categorical. That is, you can classify it into 2 or more categories, and you can use the numbers 1, 2, 3. All right, and you can classify it. And what it would do is it would help you to understand how you're going to classify this based on input variable, which is the independent variables, which need to be in interval or ratio scale. All right. So let me now give you another example. I'll put up on the screen. Just give me a moment. I'll put up another example on the screen. So this is something that you already have, finally leading to some analysis and going into the answer. All right. Now, all of you, since you have all this, I will stop sharing the first screen and I'll bring up another example on the screen right now. Just bear with me for some time. So this is another case of the discriminant analysis that I'm putting across from another device. So just tell me if you can see the screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is another example of a case study. This now has been, the same book has been used for the case study, which is the Rajendra Nargunkar case study book, Rajendra Nargunkar book on research methodology, marketing research. And here, if you see the same discriminant analysis, a different problem is given. All right. I have picked up few selected case studies for the multivariate techniques that are pertinent for your 5th unit. But in any case, Rajendra Nargunkar is already given as your, what do you call that, reference for your syllabus. So in case you have a copy of that or an e-copy of that or an old copy from someone else, you can always go through that chapter. And there are many case studies given. So few studies which I've selected only for the 5th unit. In addition to that, right now, since we are describing something discriminant analysis, and as I told you, you don't need to do the manual calculation, because in the statistics class or in a business maths class, you already know the concept or the calculation behind it. Right now, we need to understand your syllabus also does not take into account. It is not going to ask you to do the analysis inside a software per se and detail the analytical outputs in terms of figures and numbers, but you are expected as part of the syllabus. If you see the syllabus, the coverage content or the scope is that you should understand what these analytical techniques are, where they need to be used, how they need to be used, and what kind of application they have. All right. So in order to understand that, case studies are the best. And the case studies that I'm using here is that such that you don't have to again in groups find out different solution. The solution itself is also given in the case study. And this is a published case study from a reputed author, Dr. Rajendra Nargunkar. He is an alumni of the IIM, and he has also taught in IIMs and of course many business schools. So these are very standard case studies which most of the business research students are able to understand. All right. And the best part of it is right now is that once you go through a little bit of different background for each of these, techniques, like different case situations. So the first one we discussed was pertaining to Procter and Gamble. So briefly till now, we have not gone into the analytical mode. We are now just trying to understand in what context can be used. So discriminant analysis, we said, can be used primarily when you want to discriminate between 2 or more groups of any objects. All right. The dependent variable will have to be categorical variable. You want to categorize people or respondents or objects into different categories. The independent variable in the discriminant function will have to be interval or ratio scale items. All right. So the first one was a PNG, where they wanted to classify their territorial sales inspectors into different categories, or any kind of sales staff into different categories. What you're seeing on the screen right now, and if I enhance it a little bit, you will see that this is an example of a discriminant analysis wherein a retail outlet wants to know the consumer behavioral pattern of the purchases that consumers do for the products across two categories, national brands and local brands. All right. So national brands are brands which are actually well known all over the country. They have very widely known coverage, and local brands could be brands which are actually store specific, which are known only in a particular geographical area. All right. So for example, if you go to Big Bazaar, the store brands would be the brands which are branded with the Big Bazaar brands. All right. Food Bazaar brands and all that. And national brands could be brands. For example, you could have jams, jellies, which could have Big Bazaar brand, which could have the local store brand, but you could have national brands like Kisan. All right. So all these major brands of the country, we say from Nestle, from Tata, and all these are national brands. So the purpose of this particular case is that wanting to apply discriminant analysis in a situation where a retail outlet wants to know, based on the consumer behavioral pattern, okay, the consumer's certain characteristic, they want to understand whether they will have a preference for national or local brands. And why does a retail outlet want to understand the classification of customers based on their preference? You can see in the case study, so that it would help them to place orders depending on demand requirements of the customer. All right. So no entity, no company or no organization wants to invest in getting stocks which do not get sold, right? So while out of stock is a serious issue leading to the fact that you're not able to give customers the kind of brands that they want, out of stock issue can lead to loss of sales and potential sales and all that. Getting stock and not getting it sold will lead to unsold inventory, which has also high carrying cost, right? So the inventory carrying cost for physical products is actually one of the cost centers for the company, for any company. So definitely they would like to purchase, and they would like to make the forecast of the consumer demand in such a way that ideally you should be able to carry inventory as much as required to, fulfill the customer demands without having too much of stocking. Otherwise, unsold inventory is not going to give you any kind of profit. Just to sum up in a bit. So every business research problem, like we said, must necessarily be able to address a business decision scenario, so that it would lead to the optimization of the decision-making problem, or to make a decision which can optimize the business performance. So in this case, discriminant analysis is aimed to be used by the retail outlet in the case question to arrive at understanding the preference of customers into either national brands or local brands. So categorization. All right. So discriminant analysis, the dependent variable is to classify people into either national brand preference or local brand preference. All right. Now there should be a data based on which you will be able to put the data, and based on the data, the analysis can be done in order to come to that conclusion of whether you can classify customers or discriminate between customers based on their characteristics. So what is the retail outlet doing in this case? The retail outlet uses data from a retail outlet in another location to arrive at the decision about customers visiting the shop. So what are some of the things that are mentioned here? The retail outlet wants to use discriminant analysis to screen the responsiveness of customers towards national brand and local brand categories and find out the following. So there is a certain research problem. Percentage of customers that it is able to classify correctly, statistical significance of the discriminant function, because we said finally the output of the discriminant analysis shall be like a discriminant function. It is like that regression equation, if you remember in statistics and all you've done, right? Regression equation, simple regression, multiple regression. So you need to be able to build a model which can help you to predict in which categories your customers will be. So this in discriminant analysis is called the discriminant function. Like you saw in the previous case study that I gave you for discriminant analysis, the Procter and Gamble, finally you will come to an equation of y is equal to a constant plus coefficient and the independent variable combination, right? So we will look at the theory. So what is happening here? Percentage of customers that can be classified correctly, statistical significance of the discriminant function, which variable, for example, among the variables that I used, annual income and household size. So among the variables that are available from the data of the customers, which variables are relatively better in discriminating between consumers for national and local brands? Okay, the other thing which people want to understand is classification of new customers into two groups. That is to find out whether a customer is likely to be a national brand acceptor or a local brand acceptor. All right. So depending on that, what are they going to use this? They're going to use this to do some kind of a forecasting and getting the stocks. Now, what do you see as part of this? Second, now this is your research problem. How do you go about it? Now the solution of the case study begins. But before that, you need to understand the data. So every kind of case situation will have certain data that is going to be available. So what is the data that you can see in front of all of, in front of your screen, all of you? You can see that there are certain brands which are mentioned. All right. So brands again are in two categories, 1 and 2. So there is a categorization which has happened, right? There's a second, if I can just put the, I think if I put the spotlight here, you can all see the annual income, right, column, and you can see the household size column also, right? So annual income is in continuous scale, or it's a ratio scale. It is in exact monetary amount. It is not categorical. And household size is in terms of number of members. That is also numbers like 3 members, 2 members, 4 members, 3 members, like that. So it is actually ratio scale variable. And what have you understood till now? Discriminant analysis will use the dependent variable will have to be categorized. So dependent variable is the brand. So you want to find out whether a customer is a national brand acceptor or a local brand acceptor. So want to classify people into, in this case, 2 categories. But discriminant analysis can help you to categorize in 2 or more categories. So national and local brand. So they have got 2 categories and they have got data about customers, about their income, annual income, and they have got data about the customers regarding their household size. All right. And the input data is shown to all of you. Now, can some of you tell me, after seeing this on the screen, how many data has been collected? Number 1, question to all of you. Input data. So in this case study, there is a sample data which is given, based on which classification of customers will be done using discriminant analysis. How many sample data has been shown in this case study? So what you see here, input data example is given. I hope all of you are able to see that. The test screen says that yes, you're able to see that. So there are some data given, serial number 1 to 20, right? That's the first column. Brand is mentioned in categories 1 and 2. What is the code for national brand? What is the code for national brand? If anybody is choosing national brand, the code is 1. If anybody is choosing local brand, the code is 2. All right. And shortly after this, I will also show you the SPSS version, like where in SPSS you can actually use the discriminant analysis analytical option. That is just an operation of the tool. First is to understand basically where it is going to be used. All right. So now tell me, see the screen and tell me, all of you, or put your answers in the chat box. How many respondents have answered this particular requirement of data? So this retail outlet has got how many respondents? Second question for all of you would be, what are the codes for the brands? National brand, what coding is given? And local brand, what coding is given? Third thing, annual income, what type of scale? Next, family size, what kind of scale? All right. Mention that in the chat box. The last question, we are saying that the discriminant function is in the form of an equation. Can one of you, or can some of you, write in the chat box the basic type of the equation, the discriminant function, how it looks like? Is it going to be y is equal to a plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2 b3 x3? How is it going to be written as? So put this in the chat box. Okay. Now, for you to get the answer here, the last question would be, can you tell me, after all the analysis is done, okay, you can see the scrolling. I have put you in the scroll function here. Can you tell us, or can you put on the screen, which is the discriminant function for this particular case study? What is the final outcome? So what is the predictive equation that is going to be used for this particular case study? Someone can mention what are the variables and what are the independent variables and what are the dependent variables. So first question first, how many respondents used in the case study? How many respondents used for the case study? How many respondents have been used for the case study? How will you understand how many respondents in the case study? You will have to see the number of rows or columns in the data dump. What will you see in the case study? Input data. Will rows tell you the number of cases, or will the columns tell you number of cases? Second thing, which is the dependent variable and which is the independent variable? So which is the independent variable for the case and which are the dependent variables for the case? So dependent variables would mean what is it that you want to find out, right? And independent variables would be those variables which you are trying to test whether they have an impact on the dependent variable, right? So you would like to understand, first of all, how and in which way it is going to be done, right? Now, in order for you to understand that, let me just stop this sharing of this screen and take you back to another screen. Can you see the screen, all of you? Can you see the screen? This is a theoretical concept which we are going to see along with the case study. All right, so we're going to see the theoretical concept. Just give me a feedback whether you're able to see the screen that I've put up, which is on discriminant analysis. So the theoretical part of this is already again uploaded in LMS. So the theoretical part says that discriminant analysis is used for classification and prediction, like you saw in the two examples, right? Discriminant analysis is also used to distinguish between 2 or 3 sets of objects or people based on the knowledge of some of their characteristics. All right, done with the case study. It is easy to understand. Next thing is, what are the examples in such a case to distinguish between 2 or 3 sets of objects or people based on the knowledge of some of the characteristics? Well, the examples would be buyers and non-buyers, students admitted and rejected, employees hired or rejected, this kind. All right. Now, another question which I was asking you is, what is the form of the discriminant function? So what you see on the screen is the discriminant function, like the regression equation wherein we predict, is in the form of, you can see this, y is equal to a plus k1 x1 plus k2 x2 and so on. So y is the dependent variable, which is a categorical variable, like I was telling you. Y is the discriminant score. All right, the dependent variable will be in score, based on which you'll categorize the objects into 2 categories. X1 and X2 are the independent variables, which are continuous metric variable, right? So in the first case, for example, if you remember, recall Procter and Gamble, the independent variables were the amount of sales, the sales coverage, the dealer coverage, number of dealers covered, all of that, which is in amount. And in this particular case study that you were looking at, in this particular case study, in the sense, the second case study on discriminant analysis, the retail outlet, what were the independent variables? The independent variables were the annual income and the household size, right? So annual income was in continuous variable, it was in money, currency term, and the household size was in numbers, 2, 3, 4, 5, which you can do averaging, all of that. So the discriminant function is in the form of y is equal to a, which is a constant. So a is the constant. You will get it from the discriminant function itself, and you will get the k1 and k2. K1 and k2 are the unstandardized discriminant function coefficients of the independent variables. How is it got? It is an output of the software itself. So the case study has those analytical outputs also given. So you take the k1 and k2, that is a coefficient of the independent variables, from the unstandardized discriminant function coefficient, where you get the a value also, right? Next, discriminant analysis is a technique for analyzing data when the criterion or dependent variable is categorical and the predictor or independent variable is interval in nature. So what are some of the objectives? So from the theoretical point of view, from the examination point of view, from your evaluation point of view, these are few things that you need to remember. Development of the discriminant function, that is a linear combination of the predictor or the independent variables, which will best discriminate between the categories, and the dependent variable is a categorical variable, that is your y in the discriminant function equation. examination of whether significant differences exist among the groups, determination of which predictor variables contribute to most of the intergroup differences, and the coefficient of the independent variables will actually determine which one has a better predictor. So the value of the coefficient is going to indicate to you from the discriminant function which among the independent variable is actually more influencing the dependent variables. So in the case study that I have given to you for the Procter and Gamble, you will see that finally the y is equal to some, there is a particular discriminant function which is coming up. It could be a combination of a plus or minus k1 x1 plus or minus k2 x2 and all of that. So this k1 and k2 will indicate to you whether x1 or x2 is more impactful on the dependent variable y in the categorization process. Okay, so this is some of an example given, and the theory part of unit 5 is now blended with. Now let me go back to the case study, so that once again the case study has to come up. So the case study which we were seeing is here given. One second. Just give me a moment. Let me put it up. So for example, if you see from this screen, so which now can you tell me, now that you've understood the theoretical part, can any one of you also mention which is the most influential independent variable for determining national brand accepting customer or local brand accepting customer? So what is a dependent variable? Y. Which is the independent variable? On the other side of the equation, y is equal to, so what is the standard form of the equation? Y is equal to k1 x1 plus k2 x2. So y is dependent, the x1 x2s are the independent variables. So for this particular example, what are the independent and dependent variables? Can you tell, can you identify and put it on the screen? Put it on the chat box, please. Can you? Can you see the screen? So annual income in this equation, is it an independent or a dependent variable?
Independent.
Independent variable, very good. And household size is also an independent variable, right? And y is the categorical variable, right? Which is going to classify the customers. Now we said this equation must be in the form of y is equal to a plus k1 x1 plus k2 x2. So here we said that the value of k is what is going to determine which of the variable x1 or x2 is having most impact on y. So in the equation of k1 x1 plus k2, y is equal to a plus k1 x1 plus k2 x2, we said the value of the k1 and the k2 we need to see in order to find out whether the x1 or the x2 or the x values, which one among them is most influential. So if you see the equation here, once you get this discriminant function equation, this is the predictor model for your that retail brand case study that we're doing. In this case, can you tell me, can you guess and tell which of the independent variable is most important for determining the national brand or local brand acceptance? Is it annual income? The coefficient of annual income is minus 0.335427, that one. And the coefficient for household size is 0.313361. All right. And remember the equation. What was the equation? In the form of K1 and K2. Let us just quickly go back to that theoretical aspect of the case so that you're able to understand what I'm saying, because now what you are doing right now is more important. What is more important is to understand whether, once again, whether you are able to interpret. So you don't have to do anything to work out manually the discriminant functions code. The software will put it up for you. You as a management professional, you have to be able to understand how to interpret it, right? So how do you interpret the discriminant function coefficient? Once again, where is that? How will you understand that? You have to go back to the theory and understand where, in what situation is discriminant function used, and you will have to go back to the theory which was talking about the theoretical aspect of discriminant function. So let me put it up for you. Kindly see this. Yeah, all of you can see this. So the standard template of the function is in the form of, I'll put this in front of all of you so that you can see that. See the, the spotlight. This is your standard discriminant function. Y is equal to A plus K1 x1 plus K2 x2. Y is the dependent variable. Y on the other side of the equation. And A is a constant. K1 is K1, K2. These are the unstandardized discriminant function coefficient. And x1 and x2 are the dependent variables. So in the case study example, we saw annual income was one x1. Another was household size was another x2. The K1 and K2 that you get, the value of K1, the coefficients will actually determine whether or which of the independent variable is more important in determining the value of Y. All right. So standard form is Y is equal to A plus K1 x1 plus K2 x2. Now, if you switch this and then see the solution of the case study. So what do you see in the solution of the case study? We are seeing that, let me put it up on the board. One second. Yeah, you can see that, I think so now. Why isn't it? Yeah. So if you see this, so the value of the function is Y is equal to 4.545077 minus 0.335427 of annual income plus 0.313361 of household size, right? Now, if I want to use a marker here, so which is the dependent variable for all of you for your identification purpose? Which is the dependent variable? Can you see I have highlighted Y is the dependent variable, right? Which is the constant? Can you tell me, unmute and tell me which is the constant? What is the value of the constant? It's already highlighted. 4.5407. Yeah, right. You can do it to the 2 decimals only. They have done it for the case study. Rajendra Nargunkar case study is showing at least 5 decimal points. That's okay. So Y is equal to a constant plus, that is your standard discriminant function. Y is equal to A plus K1 x1 plus K2 x2. In this case, what are you seeing? Y is equal to A, but instead of plus, there is a minus sign, right? Which means, which is the first K1? Which is the K1 here?
Minus 0.33.
Yes, thank you very much, Anita. Thank you very much. K1 is a coefficient for the X1. In this case, X1 is annual income. The K1 coefficient is minus 0.33, what she said. The next part of the equation. So what is the standard one? Equation is y is equal to a plus k1 x1 plus k2 x2, right? So what is k2 in this case? In this particular case study solution, k2 is what I am highlighting, right? So you have all been able to identify, I know. So I'm not asking anymore, unmuting and asking, but you can also check for yourself. K2 in this case is 0.31, 3361. X2 is household size, right? Which means what? Which means if you use this model and you have annual income of a customer, you put it into this, put the household size into this equation, you will get the Y function. The Y function, whether to categorize into 1 or 2, whichever is the categorization requirement, you will get it from the score. I will just scroll up. You will get it from the score here, which is given. I'll just highlight it here. All right. So you have to add up and find out the value of the Y score, and you will have to take it from here. Are you getting it? So from the means of the canonical variable. So you need to find out whether the score Y is between minus 1.00103 to 1.00103. So once you put that number of any customer, annual income and household size, Y is equal to this one, you compute it, 4.545077 minus 0.33 of annual income, put annual income actual, plus 0.313361 of household size, put a certain household size that the customer has. You compute the entire thing, the Y value. If the Y value is between, now this is where you will use this. You will use this function in table 4, and the score, if the score is between, is more towards minus 1.00103, that means it will be classified as a group 1 case. And if the score is towards 1.00103, it will be towards the second group. And the mean value, the middle value will be actually 0. All right. So Y, whatever score Y takes, you have to check that Y score with the value on this table 4. Are you getting the point? And here, what is 1 and 2? What is 1 and 2 for categorization? It has been given in the case study. Categories for the brands. Code 1 is national brand. Code 2 is local brand. So when you get the score of Y from this equation, and then you go back and see the scores from this statistical discriminant analysis score table 4. If it is grouped into first group, there is a meaning. Group 2, there is a meaning. So what is group 1? Group 1 was what? Coded national brand. It's there in the screen. And 2 is for local brands. All right. So the input data. So you are able to do what? You are able to find out that if there is a certain data about customers given, where the independent variables are continuous variables, and the categorization has to be in groups, it will be a categorical variable. You can use this for usage in discriminant analysis. Get the discriminant function, understand and interpret that function. How you are going to get the function coefficients is from this standardized coefficient table, where if you see this, you are getting some amount of idea about the possible coefficient that are released here. The raw coefficients will have certain things. So in this table 2, this table 2 will give you the idea about what is the constant value. So you see here, the output here is 4.54077. That is the constant which is taken in the discriminant function case. 0.313361 is the coefficient for household size, and minus 0.335427 is the coefficient taken for the annual income, and this gives you the total discriminant function. So what happens is, the interpretation of the case study, do go through it. The classification of the case study says you can classify customers into the purchase behavior for national and local brands, where group 1 national brand and group 2 local brands are plotted on a scale, and the score can vary from minus 1.00103 to plus 1.00103. All right. And I said 0 is the midpoint. So if the discriminant score, that is Y, of a customer falls to the left of the midpoint 0, we classify him as 1 with a preference for a national brand. And if that score is on the right side of the 0, it is a preference for local brands. All right. So the discriminant function for this particular output happens to be y is equal to 4.54077 minus 0.33 of annual income plus say 0.31 of household size if we take up to 2 decimal points. All right. So this is one thing. And if you look at the other one, which has already been given to you, I didn't want to give too many case studies of this type, but you can have a look at that. I will also upload that as well. This is that case study which has already been given to all of you. It is about that Procter and Gamble case. Potentially unsuccessful TSI is 1, potentially successful TSI is 2. All right. So go through all the case studies also, so that we will go through this and then we can use the data. You can put it in the Excel format also, and I will show you in a SPSS output, on Monday or Tuesday, how you can actually give the orders. First is to understand what is the analysis. Then you can use the tool. Understand what is the concept. It's like preparing food. You just understand, first of all, what is it that you're going to do? What type of food are you going to prepare? Why are you going to prepare that? Then you can understand whether you're going to make it in on an induction cooker, on a gas oven, in a stove, whatever, right? Or how you're going to run that. So the purpose is to understand what is it that you're going to do, what analytical techniques, what is a fundamental theory behind the technique, and then what type of data can be used for the technique, and what kind of outputs are expected from the technique. Once you understand that, then using the software and going and clicking on a certain tab and getting it is only a matter of just process. It's like step 1, tick here, step 2, click this, step 3, put the variables, step 4. But you should know what type of variables go into a particular type of an analytical technique. So the to wrap up for the discriminant analysis for today, we saw in the case of one retail case study, and we have taken a second case study, which is that Procter and Gamble case study. And we will try to recap our understanding for today with the use of this particular case study and go through that case studies that are uploaded on the LMS. Any kind of doubts and all, please keep your doubts coming in the LMS till Monday. So what is this particular case study all about? Planning to classify successful and unsuccessful territorial sales inspector agents. Because of what? That is what I was asking. They want to give, Procter and Gamble wants to give a pump top system to them so that they are able to do effective sales management tracking for their distributorship. So to whom they want to give it? They would like to first of all understand whether or who are the effective ones or the successful TSIs and who are the unsuccessful TSIs. So the moment you're trying to classify people or staff into successful and unsuccessful categories, categorization. So dependent variable is categorization. 2 or more groups use discriminant analysis. So what are they also trying to find out? They want to find it out based on some independent variables. What are the independent variables? Years of experience of the sales inspectors based on their sales that they have done and based on the dealer coverage. All right. They want to give to the successful and the and they want to categorize and then give the pump top system. So what is the final discriminant function that has been found? We go to the end of the case study. So end of the case study will give you the output. What is the output of the case? It has the discriminant function. What was the discriminant function format? Y is equal to a constant plus k1x1 plus k2x2, right? In this case, what is the discriminant function here? From this particular equation, the predictive, the discriminant function that has been derived based on the data is y is equal to minus 1.85135 plus there is a coefficient 0.2067, 0.20607 of years of experience plus you have sales, okay, minus year that is 0.40 and 3 and minus dealer that coverage, the value of the variable or the name of the variable is DLR underscore CVR, coefficient is 0.11931. So here Y would give the discriminant score for any TSI and the discriminant score must fit into any of these. So what is that? You will have to see the canonical means of the canonical variables. Okay, calculation is not required. You have to see the scores will vary between minus 1.5 to plus 1.5. All right, so when the value of Y is towards minus 1.5, you are categorizing that as a first group TSI, and it is the Y score is more towards positive value plus 1.5. It will be categorized into the second group. Okay, now what is the first group and second group? Where do you see the coding for the first and the second group? So you'll have to go back to the problem. The unsuccessful TSI is 1 group, that is category coding is 1. Successful TSI is 2. Unsuccessful 1, successful is 2. So whenever the Y score will indicate here, Y score will indicate anything to do with till about -1.5, you're getting a people classified as group 1, which is unsuccessful, and group 2, which is the successful category. All right. So here you will get the discriminant function. You will interpret from this one. This is the role of the business research manager or the business researcher. You need to understand, so you know why it is used, what data is used, in what context and analytical technique is used. You order for the output from the software or for the analytical software. And then once you get the output, you will try and interpret its meaning. So in this case, the meaning of the function is that it has a negative constant, and years of experience has a positive coefficient. Sales has a positive. Years of experience has a negative coefficient, and dealer value has a negative coefficient, right? And the amount of the coefficient will indicate, the more positive the coefficient is of an independent variable, the more it is impacting the Y value. So in this case, how many independent variables are there? There are 1, that is years of experience, sales, and dealer value. What you saw in the input data. So what did you see in the input data? They had taken input data as potential, whether the TSI is an unsuccessful category person or a successful. Unsuccessful coded as 1, successful as 2. The other variables that are taken independent is years of experience, which is continuous variable, ratio scale variable, actual sales done, that is in currency amount, rupee amount, that is again continuous or ratio scale variable. Coverage, how many dealers they cover, 32 dealers, 21 dealers, so that is also number. So there are 3 independent variables and 1 dependent variable. Dependent variable in this case is that Y. So the last part of the case study, will give you the Y value, which is the dependent variable, a constant, and 3 independent variables, year of experience, sales, and the dealer coverage. Coefficients are given. In this case, some of the coefficients are positive, some are negative. It will help you to understand which independent variable is affecting the dependent variable most. How you will classify? You will see the means of the canonical variable, this particular table, and see that the score is between -1.5 to +1.5 with 0 in between. All right. And the classification of the TSI will come from the raw coefficient table, wherein you get the constant value. And this is where -1.85 is taken as a constant, and the rest of the coefficients are taken for the independent variables, right? So if there's any doubt on discriminant function, do come back on Monday, and please go through the logistic regression. Now that you understand discriminant function, it will be a little easier to understand logistic regression. Do not go into the complexities of the calculation here. Understand that it is used for, again, categorizing only 2 categories of objects or people. All right, and we will continue on Monday with logistic, factor, and cluster. Please go through the case studies, solved case studies given to you. If there's any more doubt, you can put it on the LMS. Otherwise, I think we will call it a day today. Thank you so much for joining on time and being in the class. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend. Stay safe.
Thank you, ma'am.